All right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Sven Rodenbusch. This is Marcos Hernandez Fondelius. This is Felix Singer, and we are Green Tech Heating Systems. Our product idea is actually an idea born in the coal mine. So our CEO and founder, Mr. Reed Potter, has been involved in the coal mining industry for several years, and they're using a technology to bring the heat out of the coal mines through water. So it was his idea to actually use that heat and use that technology to heat pools. So Felix is going to continue and explain the process.
All right, you can see right here, if you currently want to heat your pool, what you need is a pump and a motor, the heater, and a filter system. So what it does, the pool, the water goes through the pipes, into the pump, through the filter, into the heater, and from the heater back into the pool.
Well, the problem that our customers are facing right now is a high acquisition cost of $5,000 to $7,000. As Felix pointed out, there is a lack of space. If a customer doesn't have a space, you are not allowed to put this kind of traditional heaters. As well, the traditional ones, they're not environmentally friendly, so they give air pollution like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxides, and sulfur oxides. As well, the average lifespan of heaters is around 6 years.
All right, as you can see here, we actually have a patent pending for our product. It has been published. You can see number one, this will be the filter of the system, and the water would come through the filter, go through the pipe, and go into our heat pump right here. This is what you can see at the bottom. And you can see the tubes around the motor back here. This is actually where the water flows through and is heated by the heat of the motor that is going into the pipes. And then it flows back into the pool. And here in the middle, right next to the filter, we have a control unit where you can actually control the temperature. So if you reach the desired temperature, you just can, shut it off, or it shuts it off automatically, depending on what you have to set it on. And the water will run through the pump, but not through the heating part of the system. What our product is, it's an integrated heat pump into the filter system. It utilizes the heat that is lost in the existing system, so it just goes into the air to heat the water. So the water goes into the filter system, and after filtering the water goes through the pump, over the pump motor, and it's heated. You can see here, the water goes in, goes over the hot pump motor, and comes out heated. And we utilize the exothermic heat. So here you can see the comparison of the two systems. On the right, the heater is still in the system. So this means the water comes out of the pool, goes into the heater, and from the heater into the pump, into the filter, back into the pool. We can completely eliminate this, save you money for running cost and space with our Green Tech heating pump. The water just comes out of the pool, goes through the pump, is heated in the pump, and goes into the filter.
Well, our company will focus on hotels with indoor pools. So our research found that it's 40,000 hotels in the US with indoor pools, and it's a target market of $40 million. Why indoor pools? They are divided by chains, so it will be easier and faster to make a contract with them and then distribute to the other chains. We have three main competition. The first one is propane natural gas. This is the traditional ones, and acquisition cost is very high. It's around $5,000 to $7,000. It's not very effective. It's around 80% effective, and lifespan is around 6 years. The problem with the traditional ones is that there is a lot of, it's not very bad with the emissions. They give natural oxides, sulfur oxides, and carbon oxides. The electric resistant ones, the lifespan is around 3 years. Acquisition cost is low, but the running cost is around $1,000 to $2,000 a year. And the biggest competition that we have right now is the solar panel systems. The acquisition cost is around $10,000. There is no running cost. Efficiency is right, but depending where you place the solar panel systems, it's not going to work, depending on Kentucky, Tennessee.
Okay, so basically what we propose is a solution that eliminates the two different circuits, the pump and the heater. That will lower your acquisition cost by around 70%. You could also save about 30% in running cost because you only need to utilize one system and not two. Also, we eliminate the AC that is needed to cool down the room where the heater is, so the heater doesn't overheat. This will save you about $5,000 to $7,000 a year. Also, there's so-called carbon credits. Carbon credits, if you can earn them with your product, if it's very green, you can earn up to 30% of federal tax credit. You can see in the picture maybe, it's a very big unit, the heater. It takes up a lot of space. This space can be utilized for different things. Also, the lifespan is very short because they mainly use electric heater in the indoor hotel pools. So we can actually significantly increase the lifespan. Also, we would eliminate the air pollution. ACs have a very, very high level of air pollution, and so we could save the environment with this product. Also, it would give hotels a green image, and that's a way for them also to pull customers, because maybe they have always these signs in the bathroom, only put your towel on the floor if you need it washed.
Okay, speaking of the financials, overall in the industry we have a growth rate of 2.75%, which is a pretty decent growth rate, a steadily growing industry. That's for all pools, that's not just for hotel pools, that's for pools in general. As the biggest barrier to entry that we identified are the pre-existing relationships with our competition, because all these pools right now are heated with our competing products. So they have already maybe contracts, and they have the contact with them. They're currently working with them. We look to break into that. And the short lifespan, like Marcus mentioned, of electrical heaters, for example, is 3 years. We look to break into that because we get a lot of opportunities. Every 3 years something breaks, and there's other circuits involved, like the AC and the actual pump, not just the heater. So whenever something breaks, it is an opportunity for us to enter. For example, we had an interview with the manager of the Hilton Inn just across the street here, and he mentioned that the maintenance is a big problem for them. They have 3 different circuits. A lot of maintenance costs arise from that. For our team, our CEO is Mr. Reed Potter. He has been involved in the coal mining industry, as I said before, and as well he has successfully run a company or several companies which will provide the leadership for us that we need, because we are 3 college students. We're looking to graduate soon, but still he has the experience and knows what it takes to successfully lead a company. Then Marcos Hernandez Fondelius, he will be in charge of sales. He's currently getting a degree in business management and in accounting here from UPIKE, and he has helped in managing a restaurant over the last 3 summers and a bar, so he is very good in that contact with the customer and is very proficient in that. Then Mr. Felix Singer, he'll be in charge of marketing. He's currently getting as well a degree from here in business management from UPIKE, and he has worked for an IT company, helped building websites. So this will be a big part where he comes in. Mr. Gabriel Penn, he cannot be here today, but he's in charge of R&D. He's looking to develop our product. We actually still we have a prototype, but we don't have a finished product yet. So it's still going to take another 6 months for us to do that. So he's going to be helping out with that, and he's currently acquiring a master's degree here at the University of Pikeville as well. And myself, I'll be in charge of finance. I actually helped in auditing, in accounting of a local gym back in Germany where I'm from, and as well I'm getting a degree in accounting and business management. For our lifetime value of a customer, this is estimated for 5 years and for a small sized pool. So we estimate $2,250 one customer to be worth. So to break even, to cover our costs, there would be a little bit over 100 units of sales that we have to make. The time to acquire our customer, you can see around here, is around 6 months with making contact, presenting the idea, and then the biggest part of our sales pitch is the testing phase. It's a 3-month testing phase where we would agree to a hotel company to give free testing, install one of our products in their pools, to actually show how our product works, collect data, and let them get a first-hand experience of how our product helps and would eliminate the problems that they currently are facing. So afterwards, can you go back please? Afterwards there still would be some time to finalize contract and make the installation process. Then the cost of customer acquisition. For the first year, as you can see in the first column, the last number, we're estimating roughly $143,000. Looking at our time to actually develop the product, which is 6 months, and acquire a customer for 6 months, we have to get ourselves through that first year without having any income from sales. So 143,000 we have here, plus we estimate another 100,000 to perfectly develop our product to get us ready to enter the market. So $250,000 we would need. 50,000 we plan to put up ourselves, so we are looking for an initial investment of around $200,000 to get ready. Now, thanks for your attention. Go Bears and think green.
Thank you.
Any questions?
We need the hotel manager in here.
Yeah.
Ask some questions again. I guess my question is, who in the process of when a new pool is going to be in a hotel, who makes the recommendation about what system is going to be used to heat the pool?
That is a very good question.
That's your customer.
Yeah, that will be our customer. We actually have looked a little bit into the decision-making unit. There's a little bit has been holding us back, and our CEO as well is a little bit concerned about that. The patent is pending right now, and it might be a good idea. The thing is, once you have a good idea and you make it public, someone might steal it. But yeah. So for our looking, we have to make the contact. I mean, we are not experienced with that, but he said that they have a general contract, but they themselves buy it and have to deal with the maintenance. So it would be
The hotel.
the hotel itself,
Yeah.
the individual hotel. They belong to chains, but they don't have any big limitations for that.
But my guess is that somebody way removed from them made the decision.
Yeah.
Or made the
We have to definitely convince someone within the corporation headquarters, and we expect to do that.
It's either the architect or a firm that specializes in the putting the pools in there makes that recommendation. So that's who you need to get early to talk to say why. You can tell them, what if I could do this and this. You don't have to tell them how.
Yeah.
Find out if that's going to affect their thinking.
That would be definitely important. Yeah.
Would they buy it if?
Right.
If we give it for free.
So in existing pools that have a different heat source, do they have maintenance contracts on those alternative heat source? I mean, so do they just die and have to get a new one?
Yes, they do have maintenance contracts, but after 3 years, these electrical heaters are completely burnt. They're like shot. You cannot use them anymore. You cannot repair them because the motor burned through, and it's actually more expensive to replace the motor than just to buy a new heating unit. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there's 3 different systems: the AC, which can break, the pump, which can break, and the heater, which can break. So you need to buy like a heater for $2,000. You need to buy a pump for $2,000 and an AC for $5,000. So what we would do is we can eliminate the heater, we can eliminate the AC, and our pump would be around $2,000.
Okay, I have questions about the actual product itself. And again, and I asked you before with the thermostat and the temperature regulation, and you had mentioned that you had an electronic
Yes.
source that you could, but what actually mechanical will be regulating the temperatures? And I also have a question about the prototype. Have you installed a watt meter or anything to measure, like to have proof of of said energy efficiency?
No, we haven't installed there's no thermostat like you mentioned earlier, the metal thermostat or anything. There's nothing in there yet. That's the point where we want to spend these 6 months developing the product and tailor it towards so it's like completely ready. It works best for the customer. Yeah.
Why is it going to take you 6 months to have a prototype?
Oh, we already have a prototype,
We just have it running.
and it has been running actually in Mr. Potter's outdoor pool for 3 years now. The big problem is that he self-manufactured it, but he hasn't. We haven't talked to manufacturers yet, and also he really wants to wait on the patent to finish before he moves on. his personal reasons, because I think he's really afraid that
What
someone.
if you don't get the patent? Does the business stop?
No, then you just.
So why does it
We
matter?
have to get it adjusted, get a new one, but it is
Yeah.
currently pending, and he has
Yeah,
spent.
he has an attorney. He has actually an attorney looking into, and he really wants to wait. So this is.
I don't know why you would wait. Why would you wait?
I wouldn't wait, I would move, I would go to market,
Okay.
because that just validates it.
That's a valid point. I mean,
This is something that's a little bit out of our control.
I understand.
When you say you have a 3-month a testing period, do you know about what kind of expense that's going to be to you guys? Because again, for the hotel to say, we're going to take our existing equipment out, bring your stuff in just to test, and then say it doesn't work out, then they're going to have to spend the money.
So basically, you can just put our heat pump in the place of the current pump, and just like take the heat out completely. Put a pipe around the heater so the heater is not included. So this would be really very little expenses for the hotel, or no expenses for the hotel. Oh, I'm sorry. Very little expenses for us to we don't have to go in there, take the heater out. We don't have to go and take the AC out. We can just all leave that in there. Just put our heat pump in there and test it. And we assume that the product in manufacturing is going to be somewhere around $300 to $500.
So you have it in his outdoor pool right now?
Correct.
Okay, so in Kentucky in August it's 120 degrees and my pool reaches 120. Can it reverse it? Can you cool my pool as well?
It cannot cool your pool, but you can run it around the heater so it doesn't heat it up anymore.
Okay.
That's why we had the problem. What do we target first? Outdoor pools, private owners, hotels, corporations, or what is it? The thing is, with an indoor pool, it has a pretty stable climate, so that is not a big problem for us. Now, when we face outdoor pools, where, for example, our competitor Solar will have California, Florida, Arizona, a big advantage with the sun power. They actually use it to cool the pool there. We will have an advantage here because you need constant heat to keep it at a decent amount. Because if it's too warm, it's horrible. If it's too cold, it's horrible. And he's actually had it just running 24/7, and it was a really nice temperature. It needed a little bit of time to heat up, like a week or so, because the water was cold before. But when you have that, it's very solid.
You had mentioned the 30% tax credit, and this is something I'm sort of familiar with the solar interest that I have. There's very strict guidelines that you have to go by in order to qualify for your customers to receive this credit. Have you came up with any process of how you're going to apply for that type of credit, so that your product meets the criteria to receive so your customers can receive the credit?
You want that? You want to answer? I can say something.
We've been looking into this. We have not found anything, as we're not at the point, because our product is not completely ready. So we're not at the point where we can go to them and say, hey, we fulfill all your requirements. Because this is just something that we propose that our product could do.
You want some homework?
Yes.
Yes.
We call it the homework.
So here's the challenge. You don't have to have it. Just even go see if even saying that if you had it, you may find out that doesn't even matter. Right? That's the danger of all this. So the homework would be, while you're waiting on your 6 months for the patent, find out, go down here. I've got a buddy that runs a hotel. Do they have a pool? They have a pool in over here?
Yeah.
Find out what company put that system in. You may have to drive to Atlanta or somewhere to go visit them.
California.
Go to California. Go find the closest one you can find. Go in, pitch them on it, because what you may, I'm making this up, I know nothing about pools, but what you may learn is that component that you think you're going to sell them is connected to lots of other stuff that they do as a complete system. And to get them to quit doing that to replace your one part may be futile, because they're the ones that you have to get convinced. But you'll learn. If you walk in and you say, what if I could do this? They'll tell you. If you can do what you said, I'll buy them all day long. But go have that conversation with them early and find out if that's true, because I guarantee you'll learn something. You'll either learn this is going to be bigger and easier than I thought it was going to be, or, oh my gosh, I had no idea that that's how that business really works. Because it's not just about the product, it's about their business. And if their business maybe is not helped by switching that product out, they'll probably tell you. They'll tell you to get back in your car and drive back to Pikeville, right?
There'll be a long drive.
But just don't be.
It's still
that's what I was talking about at
information.
lunch, right?
It's still worth it.
Go learn that. You got 6 months, right?
True, correct. Whole summer. Any other questions? Or-
You good? You're good?
Sorry,
Good.
coach instead of judge.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
OrderEz, driving the future of the drive-thru. Now I'm sure your first question for me is, what is OrderEz? But let me start by asking you 3 simple questions. How many of you in this room own a smartphone? And how many of you in the past 7 days have been to a fast food restaurant? And when you were at this restaurant, did you experience any of the following? Long lines, long wait times, rude employees, incorrect orders, issues reading the menu from your car. These and many other factors all create large losses in profit for restaurants. McDonald's alone last year had 90,000 tons of wasted food, equaling $2 billion, or to put that graphically, 200 plus Olympic-sized swimming pools filled with wasted food. OrderEz gives restaurants the innovative edge, faster, more accurate orders, all while boosting social media ratings, adding in better brand engagement, and reducing waste. OrderEz gives customers the flexibility, speed, and capability of ordering from their mobile devices when they want, from where they want, and exactly how they want it, with none of the normal order errors or frustrations associated with normal ordering processes of drive-thrus. OrderEz focuses on 2 key industries. First, the fast food industry, which is a $191 billion industry with 60 to 70% of all of their revenues coming from the drive-thru. And also the mobile app industry, which is projected at $25 billion for this year. To use OrderEz, simply open your phone, turn on the application, where you will be presented with GPS locations of participating restaurants near you. Don't see the restaurant that you're looking for? Simply click in the search bar where you can search for any of our participating restaurants. Don't know where one of our restaurants are? Simply click Show Me Where you will be given turn-by-turn GPS directions taking you directly to that restaurant. But once you have selected the restaurant, you will be able to view the full virtual menu where you can customize and edit your order exactly how you want it. Once you've edited this order, you can store it as favorites, or go ahead and view coupons for that participating restaurant, which once selected are automatically added to your order. Once you've customized your order, you will be given 3 different payment options. First, you can review your rewards and loyalty points for OrderEz, which you can use to pay for your meal, or allow those points to keep racking up. Secondly, you can use a virtual wallet, or lastly, you can use gifts given by other OrderEz users to pay for that meal. Once you finish with the payment processing, your phone will generate a QR code, which once generated can be scanned at that participating restaurant at our OrderEz scanner. Then drive around and pick up your food and drive off. OrderEz is really that easy. Once your transaction has been completed, you will be able to share where you ate, when you ate, and what you ate on your favorite social media sites, and also rate the restaurant so that other OrderEz users can see which restaurants are continually outperforming and which restaurants are underperforming. Now let's take a look at the competitive analysis. Since we've been working on OrderEz, we've noticed a lot of individual franchises have been coming up with their own mobile ordering, mobile payment systems, showcasing the need for a way to improve the efficiency and engage better customer engagement through the restaurants. Burger King, McDonald's, and Taco Bell, just to name a few other places, are also working on mobile ordering apps. And all of these apps take on really good key components, but OrderEz takes on all of these components in one, relieving the need to have 16 different apps for all the different franchises that you want to visit. OrderEz is all of your favorite restaurants in one. For example, Chick-fil-A, they take more of a curbside approach to ordering, where you pay and place the order mobily, but when you pull in the parking lot, you go to a designated area, try to find a designated parking spot, and wait for the employee to bring your food out. With OrderEz, it's a continual flow, getting you out of there faster. Now I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Gannon, who is going to talk about the competitive market.
Thank you, Mrs. Robinette. Here at OrderEz, we're targeting the millennial culture. The millennial culture averages from the ages of 13 to 33. The reason we're targeting this culture is because they're very tech-savvy people. Research has shown that 80% of these people in this generation sleep with their phone by their side. And another reason is the average income of these people is $45,500. And out of that $45,500, 32% of every dollar is spent on fast food, which comes out to $3,100 per person on fast food. Now I'm gonna give you a little scenario of our target market. Here we got Billy Joe Branham, age 23. He's a bachelor, just graduated college. He gets in a hurry on the evenings when he gets off work about 5 o'clock, goes home, wants to have a hot meal, but he doesn't have time to wait in line. So he just goes home, warms up a bowl of ramen noodles, and just goes on about his evening. Now I'm gonna introduce you to our team. Here on my right I have Mrs. Andrea Robinette. Mrs. Robinette has the skills of sales and marketing. She acquired these skills from ZG International Health and Weight Loss Solutions. She now offers real estate advice for Cautry Enterprises of here in Pikeville, and she's the CEO of OrderEz and the creator of OrderEz. Also on my right I have Mr. Mason McCoy. Mr. McCoy handles all the finances here at OrderEz. He has management skills, communication skills, and he's also part of the management team at Mountain Recycling Corporation in Prestonsburg, Kentucky, where he handles all the inventory, payroll, and bookkeeping. And we also have another member who cannot be with us today, which is Mr. Brandon Hall. Mr. Hall has some personal reasons, but Mr. Hall handles all the operations for OrderEz. He's been a member of the Hardee's franchise for 3 years. 2 of them as an employee, and 1 is the entry management level position. And I am Corey Gannon. I have 6 years of work experience, 2.5 for the federal government, Department of Labor. And I've also acquired a year of experience where I've learned to work really well with customers at Magic Mart. And now I'm going to turn it over to our board of advisories. We have Mr. Jonathan Blackburn, who is an employee of the Massachusetts state government. Mr. Blackburn is an architect and developer of software. He's developed programs such as WIG, EBT, and things like that. Implemented them in states as Tennessee, Kentucky, and Massachusetts. He is helping us develop our app and our softwares. We also spoke with Conceptual System Corporation. They are out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we spoke directly with Mr. Stephen A. King. Mr. King has helped us more with their GPRS, our POS, and our scanning systems. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mason McCoy to discuss finances.
As for the sources of revenue, there are 3. We have our quick service restaurants, our quick service restaurant or QSR customers, and our in-app advertisement. As for the QSRs, we'll get revenue from the installation of our scanner systems and the renewal yearly of those scanner systems. As for the customers, we'll get revenue from the upgrade or rollover to the premium version of our app, which is $1.99 per year. And the in-app advertisement is going to be a 300 by 50 pixel banner ad at the top of the screen. As for the individual streams, for the application, we have the premium version of our app, which is $1.99, and that is a yearly renewal fee, much like Pandora Internet Radio. As for the scanner system, setup fee is $2,500. That is yearly. Annual renewal licensing is $1,000 per location, and that is also yearly. Transaction fee is 1% of the gross ticket, and that's netted from the weekly remittance. As for the components and the costs, our application is going to be outsourced to a third-party company. Typical apps run anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000, and $25,000 is more than enough what we need to get our app up and running. As for the scanner system, typical scanners run anywhere from $250 to $300. Mr. King at CSC in Nashville, Tennessee told us that we would need a 2 to 3D PDF file scanner for smartphone retina display on the cell phone screens. As for the housing materials, we're going to use 11 gauge stainless steel. A 2x4 foot sheet costs roughly $232, round that up to $250. And for labor, we need 4 hours of installation and 4 hours of work putting the housing materials together. As for the timeline, within the first year, our 20 QSRs, we're not actually receiving all profit from all 20, just 10 of them. The first 6 months of next year, we plan to implement 10 of our systems into local McDonald's. We're currently working with Bob and Tom Hutchinson, which own upwards of 30 restaurants around here at McDonald's franchise. The latter half of the year, we plan on selling an additional 10. That would give us our $25,000 gross profit for the first year. We don't really plan on anybody rolling over to the premium version of the app within the first year, but by year 5, based on a 30% turnover to the premium version of the app, that would gross us $11.14 million. Total gross profit by year 5, nearly $14 million. Now, Ms. Robin here.
Okay, to recap our presentation, we are OrderEz. What is OrderEz? It's an intuitive app built with your convenience in mind. We have 3 goals in which we wish to fulfill: creation, elimination, and innovation. We seek to create a faster, more efficient drive-thru than ever before. We seek to eliminate order errors associated with miscommunication, and we seek to innovate the entire drive-thru process. OrderEz needs $75,000 for its initial startup fees so that we can begin to drive the future of the fast food industry into the 21st century. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm a jokester. How are you going to get me to not prank my order or put in false orders? Or I mean, how would you eliminate that?
So as soon as you customize your order and store it as favorites, use the coupons, however you finish that, the second part of that is to be presented with the mobile payment option. So your order will already be paid for. So in all honesty, it really wouldn't matter because to get that QR code generated, the payment processing is already completed.
Okay.
So,
Do-
go ahead.
I just wanted to understand. I thought it was, I'm going to basically store my favorites so I don't have to verbally tell somebody through those lousy speakers and flash my QR code to that scanner and then basically put it in the system without ever having to talk to a person at the store. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay.
And have you actually spoken with the restaurants to see if they'll give you access to their databases and systems? And also, if they're paying you, what's the lag time before the actual restaurants get payment from you? Because some restaurants they have really thin margins, and that would be a big issue to them.
Yeah, we haven't really accessed any of the databases, but we have done field studies. We've tested how long and how much time we can cut out of the total ordering process, which is roughly 3.5 minutes based on local McDonald's at lunchtime. Average times run upwards of 7.5 minutes when you're in a crunch. So, I mean, our app focuses on the ordering and the purchasing processes. What was the second part of your question?
Well, I guess what I was getting at was, in order for your QR code on your app to reference, for that to go through to their database so that they can actually see what you ordered, you're
Right.
going to have them connected some way. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I was curious.
Yeah, how do you accomplish that?
Yeah. How do you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Transfer.
Brandon knows a lot about the ordering systems, but McDonald's uses Bridge. That's the main QSR that we're after right now. And Bridge is basically a Linux-based system, and our scanners would be compatible with it. Was just like I used to work for AT&T, and whenever we would get a SIM card to activate somebody's phone, you just simply scan the IMEI, and that pops it into the system. This would be just a analog scanning of a QR code that's converted into digital, and that's basically used as like a binary to sequence a order process.
So
as
those
soon as-
systems are open enough for you to electronically
Yes.
push data into them. Is that what the answer is?
And I think another thing that you had asked was about how long would it take? Was there a lag time associated with the operational process of getting that payment? And that's also instant. As soon as they click that payment process, that restaurant receives that revenue instantly.
So what if the scanner reads my code twice?
Well, your scanner would have a unique code to it. So when you scan it, it would just, that order would be transmitted that one time.
Are you sure?
Oh, you could put a unique.
Yeah. I mean, what if if it scans it twice? Do I get 2 meals then? I have to pay for 2 meals?
They could.
Well,
it's
Well,
on
your
there.
payment, you have to approve every payment.
Okay.
So with that, you would only approve the one payment, and your code would be unique. So the same as if you have a one-time offer coupon, that code's only valid for one scan. It would be the same type of system.
Explain to me this.
Yeah.
You're selling the restaurant on getting more throughput. Is that true? Is that the main value prop?
Yeah.
Get more people through the line.
Get more people and cost savings, like the 90,000 tons of wasted food from incorrect orders,
I don't understand. Oh,
employee
just,
errors and stuff like
oh,
that.
so those are-
Miscommunication.
so that's not because I decided not to eat half my hamburger. That's because they made the wrong thing and I
Yes,
throw it
because
away.
they made the wrong, because there's a lot of
I
miscommunication
misunderstood
between
that.
the person in the actual drive-through entering in what the person's saying and then the back line. So it
Yeah, I
basically
guess-
cuts that person out and leaves it to the back line for human.
I guess the challenge I have with the efficiency in the line is unless everybody is using it, all it takes is one person ahead of me to screw up all the efficiency of everybody else that uses your own system behind them. Because once you're sitting there stuck,
Your
What am
meal's
I doing?
waiting until you get there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know that, I'm not convinced that unless everybody was using it, that you actually are guaranteed to get people through there quicker.
Right.
Because
And
as
what
soon as
we're,
somebody slows up that line, every second that goes by takes away from how much faster my order would have gone through that system. Is that not true?
yeah, and what we're wanting to do is during our beta trials in this area is actually dedicate the secondary lane in the McDonald's drive-through like a fast pass
That
at Kings
might be-
Island. That way, hey, I've already got my order ready. I can scan my order. I can pull up and get my food.
I
That
get
way,
that. I
this
get
line
that.
will be completely free.
I get that.
Well,
And 1 second, to add to that, another thing is that that's not fictitious. Actually, there are Chick-fil-A's that are already trying to dedicate fast pass lanes because it was so inefficient for them to try to do the curbside appeal like I had mentioned. It just absolutely did not work. It didn't save time and it made it harder on the employees. So with OrderEz, like he said in our initial beta version, if we're able to do that fast pass lane, it would definitely showcase just how much easier it would be.
so, and again, with McDonald's, it's 2 lanes that they do. I'm sure you guys are familiar that they take pictures of your car. That's how they keep track of who's in line where, because people skip line and people jump line and people sit there and play on their phones. And so I guess, if you're scanning rather than them taking your picture, what's to say that, rather than it be your system, traditional system, that, someone skips and then would that not throw everything off if you didn't
You're
have a
asking
picture?
how it meshes.
Well, I mean, if
basically.
you're using 2 lanes right now, McDonald's keeps track of that by taking
Right.
pictures. So if one person's getting their picture taken but one person's scanning, what's to say that there's not a mix-up where the 2 lanes come together?
Well, CSC out of Nashville is actually what I've used, my father and I, for our business, for getting our strategic management is to kind of increase the efficiency. But basically how the Honeywell scanners work is when the order screen comes up, you have that person in the drive-through at that time frame. It takes the picture regardless, and then it's going to know that that is a OrderEz order. That way it'll know the order to place you in the drive-through.
You're outsourcing all your coding?
Yes, to a third party, yes.
Okay.
So what's to stop McDonald's from seeing your system? Because I know you guys didn't mention patenting or, protecting any of your code. What's to stop McDonald's or someone else from developing their own system rather than paying you?
Actually, there's a lot of current systems out there in place right now, but they're just failing. It's like Taco Bell. They're trying to be innovative, and like when you pull up in their drive-thru, it uses GPS to notify. It's like, hey, how are you doing today? It's trying to get engaged with the customer, but they're not actually taking your order. So yeah, they could try to step out and put one foot in the door and take our idea away from us, but it's a game of cat and mouse as of right now.
And as well, we're not trying to work for just an individual franchise. We're actually working with all of them. I mean, we targeted one because it made it easier for numbers and to figure out and to do a beta version. But our app, we want to incorporate all of them. That way you can view multiple locations, multiple ratings, multiple coupons, giving the customer base side of it ultimate, options.
So have y'all already successfully can pass data into one of those systems?
For the Honeywell scanners?
Yeah, can you take your data from a completely separate system and easily push it into their existing order system?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Stephen King, he's the one that told us about the Honeywell scanners and how they work. Basically, it just brings up like when I said AT&T, how the IMEI codes work. You scan that little barcode and it goes straight into the computer, fills in all the blanks, and completes the order and activation. That's the same way it would work at McDonald's.
But I would mention that with AT&T, you're scanning the cards that's already in the existing database, and with what you're wanting to do is take 2 different databases and link them together, which could create a whole deal of security issues, especially for someone as big as McDonald's. And I guess that's what is that what you're really to see if you can push from.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about those systems, just to know if they're open enough for you to.
Actually,
Do you have
Justin,
I would boil it down to, do you have to ask for permission to do it? Because that's a barrier to entry, because if you have to get somebody to agree that you can do it, especially if it has to go way up the chain, then it's very difficult to do. If you can interface with those systems without asking, all you have to do is get the restaurant owner to say, yes, you can do it, then you got a much easier chance.
And that's why we're wanting to partner with Bob and Tom Hutchinson, because they have a lot of pull in the industry with nearly 30 franchises. It's basically, you go to a McDonald's in Roanoke, you go to a McDonald's in San Francisco, they're going to be identical. They have a certain code that they want to follow. Otherwise,
Not always. I mean, because I travel the country a lot, and I can go to one McDonald's and get a McRib, and I can't go down to, down in Southern Kentucky and get a McRib. So how are you going to compensate for different menus?
menu-wise, but
Yeah.
aesthetically is what I'm saying. But as for the menu, yeah, we can update it for different locations and different regions, different tastes.
That's why we use the GPS. That way, if you are offering like a special coupon, all the coupons also would be, because this McDonald's may not be offering the same coupons that you get 5 miles down the road. So that would be location-based services. And the same with incorporating the scanners into. Starbucks actually already is using a Honeywell scanner to use their codes, so it interfaces absolutely fine with no issues.
You want to target a number of different restaurants. What is your solution for brand recognition? I didn't mean to stump them. Feel bad.
Brand recognition, as far as I think that our biggest point was initially, and like you talked about, it was a big pivot from at first. We just focused on McDonald's, but now I think with brand recognition, I think that it's better engaging, because not only do you get to see these ratings and reviews from the McDonald's here, you get to see the one a few miles down the road, and it shows customers actual customer-based reviews, and it shows ratings and rankings based on other normal people, and not just the restaurant pushing at you and trying to get you to take these coupons. These are you selecting these. This is you selecting the restaurant, and also seeing other users going in. I think that adds a large amount of brand engagement and value for customers that restaurants normally don't have the ability to really get that type of marketing out there. Social networking and social media is huge right now, and it's hard for places like franchises to really get in on the day-to-day customers.
We're out of time for questions now.
All right, thank you.
All right, we are Veggie Magic, Josh and Jared Young. There's one problem that's plagued parents internationally for the test of time, and that's getting children to eat vegetables. It pervades every family. Very few kids will eat them. It's a daily struggle that parents want to solve. Why are vegetables hated so much? Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, they have very bitter compounds that are actual healthy ingredients, antioxidants, flavonoids, other phytochemicals. While they provide the health benefits that we all need, the problem is they're very bitter and very negative towards children.
Current solutions that they're already using to cover up the taste of vegetables that's not doing it very well is cheese, ranch, and butter. This adds fat and calories that diminish the health benefits you're getting from vegetables. And then also they're using it to grind up in other foods. And this is a lot of work for the parents. They have to learn a new recipe, a whole new process of cooking that they've never had to before. So we present to you Veggie Magic. It's an all-natural, fat and calorie-free spray additive to vegetables that blocks the bitterness taste of vegetables and makes them taste like other foods that are more desirable. We plan to launch with macaroni and cheese, pizza, bacon, and cupcake. And these are all no fat and no calories, and all natural.
When you have a food product, quality is paramount. That's the way we developed our team. I will be the CEO. I come with 15 years of food experience, anything from quality control to commercialization of new technologies and sales. I've been involved in this product since the inception, obviously, and worked to get it to the point where it is today through project management. Our COO and R&D is Heather Flea. She is a food scientist. She's developed many products that are currently on the market. She understands how to put things together to enhance them and also improve the taste profile to make them more acceptable. Actually, she just won some awards for the products she developed just last week, just showing her capabilities. Dr. Talcott is our food safety advisor. He's on the scientific advisory boards for companies such as Coca-Cola and Green Mountain Coffee. He's looked at our bitter blocker technology, tested it out to make sure it worked. For example, he has a fruit extract he just developed, and only through the use of our bitter blocker has that product been able to be palatable. Jared Young's our CFO. He is a business major at Northern Kentucky University, and to complement his skills, we actually have retained some efforts of some accountants to help assist his skills. And then Tom Theobald comes with 17 years experience in retail food sales. He understands how to get into retailers, how to get with buyers. He's already given us a whole list of tips of how we can get the interest, and he'll be our lead salesperson. Intellectual property. The hallmark of our product is the bitter blocker. Other products in the market, anybody can take ranch dressing or butter, as Jared alluded to, and put it on vegetables. But you get the taste of butter or cheese, and then you get this harsh bitterness, so really you're just adding calories and the effects are limited. With our bitter blocker, it's the only all-natural product on the market that has enough power to block the bitterness of the vegetables. So basically, when you add our product to the vegetables, it wipes the slate clean, so then you can have the proper flavor that we're trying to convey, whether it's macaroni or cheese or cupcake, whatever that may be. Currently reviewing the intellectual property of bitter blocker. We do have some concerns about the patent process, because at the time that we have to file for a patent, we release our information, and then a whole host of companies could try to recreate our product without infringing the patent. So at this time, we're thinking about keeping it a trade secret, but upon further evaluation, if we feel a patent's necessary, then we'll certainly file.
We found through studies that millennials want customization for everything, and it's no different in foods. And we compare this to the success of Mio, the water enhancer. They made $100 million within the first 9 months because they're going on this trend that millennials want to customize their food, and Veggie Magic's no different. We also noticed Walmart and Kroger's have done millions of dollars in advertising to be portrayed as having the freshest produce and locally grown. And then the USDA saw a 14% increase in sales in 2013, and vegetable sales gross at $43 billion. Also, through research studies, found only 11% of people in the United States are eating the recommended amount of vegetables, and 80% actually reported that they want to eat more vegetables, just the flavor is an issue. And then if you go into Google and you type in how to get kids to eat vegetables, you get 26.6 million hits in 0.5 seconds. This solidifies the need there is for a product to get kids to like vegetables.
Also, as of 2014, there's 74.3 million children under the age of 17. When you dial back that number, through studies, they found that only 20% of kids will eat vegetables. So that leaves 80% of kids that is a daily struggle for parents. Target audience, we feel this is a retail product. As you can see, plenty of retailers, obviously a Walmart is a heavyweight, and that's not going to be our first opportunity. Our next phase, which is coming very quickly, is going to be a test market to get market data to make sure that we refine our product to ensure it's ready. We also feel there's a lot of opportunity in school systems with Michelle Obama's Let's Go campaign. She's encouraging exercise, but also eating more vegetables to help with the child obesity issues. And when they did add vegetables to the school lunch system, they found they were just being thrown away. So we feel that through our product, we can help encourage more consumption and more will be eaten. We feel there's restaurant options, and then we also feel there's options for licensing deals with Bullseye and the other large vegetable producers. Our product can be put into a powdered format that could be put into the bag so that you can just cook it and your whole family could enjoy a better tasting vegetable. And then our core demographics are women 18 to 50 and children 2 to 17. That doesn't mean that men can't enjoy the product. It just means that currently those are people who are making the most buying decisions. Scalability, obviously product adoption is going to be key in the beginning. We're going to do that through use of social networking. But we also found a huge network of parenting blogs and parenting networks in each city where mothers get together and they talk about kids with issues, children issues, parenting issues. We're going to encourage use among those groups, and then hopefully they'll spread. If we can find those in each core city that we want to get our market to penetrate, then we can grow it out that way. And we'll do that in a very systematic way to ensure that our marketing resources are being put to good use. Obviously, we'll use social media campaigns. I heard a quote a little while ago, in today's world, when you talk to one person, you talk to 1,000. I think you can harness that power to make sure you get your message out there about your product. And then we'll also do samples with sales sheets to parenting blogs, media, and other people that can spread the message about the product because they're looking for innovation in the vegetable category. And lastly, in-store demonstrations will be key. We want to be able for them to taste the product, to see how it works so they can make that buying decision.
A few products that we have in the pipeline to follow this is Veggies on the Go, which is actually a dried vegetable mix that you can just eat out of the bag. So it's a snack mix. And then we also have a very exciting process to extract the sugar out of fruit juices, because as you know, you have these fruit juices that have a lot of sugar in it and calories, and it's the same as masking vegetables with cheese or such. You're getting all these sugars and calories, and it's diminishing the benefits you get from the juice. And then we also have a Mio-based product that you can add to any beverage that has it's completely flavorless, that adds servings of vegetables to your drink.
With a food product, supply chain is critical. We've gone with a very flexible way of manufacturing. Instead of having our own facility, we're actually going to employ manufacturers starting in the state of Kentucky. But as we get into other markets, we can have a flexible supply chain for specific retailers. For example, HEB in Texas. It's going to be very costly, add greenhouse gases to the environment to truck our product from Kentucky to Texas. If we can use a flexible supply chain strategy while leveraging resources in Kentucky, we can help reduce those. Also with contract manufacturers, that's their core competency. We want to be in sales, we want to develop new products, but if you have contract manufacturers that know the manufacturing process and they can meet our standards which we'll set, then they're going to perform very well and we can utilize capacity that's out there today. We will sell directly to retailers in most cases, and when the product's produced, it'll go to order fulfillment center, Kentucky-based. That will then product will be shipped to the grocery store retail centers, distribution centers. At the time we think it makes sense and our cash flow allows, we will look at manufacturing or creating our own manufacturing facility. However, we would go through very stringent examination to make sure that makes sense, because I've seen in the past a lot of companies think manufacturing their own product is the right way to go, but they don't understand all the hidden costs. We want to make sure we expose all of those to ensure that we're as profitable as possible.
We have a cost breakdown of our current costs, and these are hard numbers that we've actually got estimates from contract manufacturers. We have a packaging at 21 cents per unit, and that includes a custom nozzle that we designed for our product because of its viscosity. It actually sits on top of the vegetables instead of coming down into the plate and not being effective. Our total cost for us is $1.21 per unit, and for wholesale price to retailers, we sell $2.60 per unit, and our suggested retail price is $3.99.
I'm going to go back to the other slide real quick. One thing I will say, the suggested retail price allows ample margin for the retailers. We feel like we can create a very good incentive system for retailers to carry the product and also allow for opportunities for promotions and coupons so that we can drive demand and increase our awareness in the marketplace. Profit potential, today our company has zero debt. We've done everything self-funded and through the use of our partners. We prefer to call them vendor partners because we believe in business. You have to leverage everybody you can to get a successful product. And currently with our numbers, our profit margin is 53.46%.
As you can see in year 1 and 2, we started out at a lower cost, and that's based on one retail unit. And then through years 3, 4, and 5, we'll jump on and grasp more retail outlets to increase our gross sales. In year 5, we can reach $12.5 million.
Financial requirements, as I alluded to earlier, today we are completely self-funded. We would seek a $100,000 investment for a 6% equity stake in the company. Those funds would be completely used to fulfill orders for the first retail chain that we would go into. Competitive intelligence. We are the first product that would hit the market that is able to mask the bitterness of vegetables, and therefore we would have first market advantage. Even if other food companies would come in and try to develop something, you would have the project cycle to develop the bitter blocker, which would take time, and then to translate that into a product similar to ours, which average timeline is 18 to 36 months. So in that time, if a competitor did come on board, we would still maintain 69% using historical measures. And then also, our competitors would be all the large consumer packaged goods companies who are producing salad dressings and similar products. In our view, they would be more likely to buy a smaller company that can innovate than they would be to try to do it on their own, because they've realized they're really good at managing brands, but not necessarily innovating new ones. And then again, not to hit on it too hard, but the bitter blocking technology is what makes this work, and nobody has an all-natural solution that is as effective as ours today. Risk assessment, consumer education. We're creating a new product, and people have to understand how it works, so they have to taste it. So that's where in-store demonstrations will be key in getting a lot of feedback from consumers in the initial launch phase. Capital for order fulfillment, that's why we're big in the crest for the 100,000 for the equity stake. SKU rationalization, making sure that we have the proper flavor mix to ensure that we are appealing to everyone and that everybody can find something they like to customize their own food. Marketing, children versus adults. Obviously the kids have to love it, but the parents have to feel good about buying it. And then competition, if somebody did come in, especially a large company, more than likely they would have larger advertising budgets than we would. Can we answer any questions?
Thank you.
Can you walk us through what your thinking was and the choice to create a standalone product versus licensing this to the companies that are already in the business of making, vegetables and maybe creating, or can you still go that route?
We believe in a flexible business. We could certainly go that route with the partners that we've put together and the preliminary interest we've received from retail buyers. We feel that we can enter that market by ourselves. When you try to get into retail, grocery stores give you two options. They either say, we'll take on your product and you have to be responsible for it, or they'll say, there's food brokers that we would like you to go through first, that cost the other ones. We would certainly review those avenues as well and have them help us if need be.
I guess the question is, you're predicting that if you're successful or show moderate early success, you're likely to raise the eyebrow of the giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how hard is it to create a barrier to entry, or do you just have the potential of getting squished if Kraft or somebody decides to come into it?
No, I understand.
You got to go fast, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't want to be reckless. We want to make sure quality is paramount, but at the same time, if we can get out there first, I feel like we'd have that advantage. Absolutely.
It's expensive to build a brand, you know that.
I do, yeah. We have spoken to some people and we're going to take a phased approach to investment. I would call it milestone approach. So as we get a retailer on board, we would seek investment to help support that and also use that money to advertise in core cities to drive the demand.
How large is the bottle? How many ounces?
7 ounces.
How long does it last?
210 sprays, which, as we calculate, everybody should be eating 3 to 5 servings of vegetables a day. So theoretically, you should go through a bottle a week.
Okay.
For a family.
For a family, correct.
So have you done any cost, like I called one of my moms at lunch and I asked her how much she would pay for this. It was much more than you have. So do you think you should maybe do a price point analysis to see if you're underselling what you have?
Yes,
Good
is the
answer.
easy answer. We did look at some competing products, not competing products, but products that were trying to sell value, and some of those the price point was $5.49 a package.
Yeah.
There's the inflection point between where you're priced too high and you start to kill demand, and we want to make sure, obviously we want to make money, that's the job of any business, and we want our retailers to make money as well, but we don't want a family to not purchase because that price is too high in the beginning. But we will do that, absolutely.
Does this kind of create, some sort of dependency? People become dependent on your product, especially kids. Like, once they use your product so much, like whenever they get older and going down the road, is there a way? I don't know the science of it, but will kids get dependent on this if they start doing it? No, I know, but that may cause for some legal issues.
No, the easy answer is children. The theory is the reason that children do not like vegetables is they naturally have 10,000 taste receptors in their tongue compared to an adult that has 3,000. The thought is that children have that many taste receptors because they don't want children going out and getting plants out of the yard and eating them. So that's why there's the natural aversion. So they look to their parents to see what their parents are doing. So as children and people mature, just like I'm sure you have noticed, your food changes. I used to hate broccoli.
Me too.
Couldn't stand it. Now I love it. It's my favorite vegetable. So naturally with this product, we think it gets kids to eat vegetables, so they get the benefits, but they're going to grow out of it at some point.
Okay.
But adults, necessarily don't like to eat the same broccoli every time. There's only so many vegetables that are easily accessible in the grocery store, so you could modify your food just like we've seen the millennials want to do.
Any sort of allergies associated that you're familiar with?
It's actually allergen free. It was created because our niece, she is allergic to she can eat rice, potatoes, and beef, and vegetables. She's allergic to everything else and she hated vegetables. So the food scientist and myself said, you know, there might be something here. So we developed the product, and we had Natalie try it, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can have cupcake broccoli now. This is amazing. And now she eats it. So, and it's helped her mother out quite a bit.
Good.
Good job, guys.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Raven Stride, and I'm presenting Southern Shine Company today. And we are launching our flagship product, the Amendment 21 Moonshine that you all tried. Everyone tried apple pie. There's a couple extra flavors we have up here that are lemonade as well as our peach tea. All right, so first let's talk about moonshine. There's a lot of myths and what people think about moonshine, right? Well, first of all, it's not made in a bathtub. It's completely safe to drink when it's produced properly at a licensed distillery. It's also completely legal when it's taxed. Now, there's a couple problems with just the kind of moonshine market that's starting today and just kind of in general are going to face any business that's trying to get into this space. One of the biggest problems with the moonshine market is that people cannot, well, I won't say they can't stand it. I'll say they don't like the taste of unaged corn liquor. That's why they age it in the first place in barrels. So, that's one of the just kind of big downfalls of moonshine right now. Also, Old Smoky, one of our biggest competitors, is a 20% alcohol, ours is 40%, but they charge almost $35 for one jar. We're at 20. And then probably the biggest barrier to entry in this category is the amount of money that it's going to take to start a distillery or bottling plant. A distillery or bottling plant can cost between $500,000 and millions. So here's our solution. We've created Amendment 21 Moonshine. Amendment 21 Moonshine is a moonshine that's been distilled 5 times from corn, and it's flavored after it's been distilled. So we completely eliminate any corn flavor. Who of you all tasted corn when you tried it? Nobody. So how liquor normally works is you get together 500,000, million, however much money you want, and you start a distillery. Now, once you've got that huge capital investment, you've got to get your stuff. You've got to get packaging, ingredients, glass. Okay, you bring all that in your distillery. Then you have to develop your product. You've got to develop the mash bill, and then you've got to try it. And in the case of bourbon and whiskey, you've got to age it, and it's a huge process. Now, I've told you all the bad things. Here's the good things, and here's how we do it. We actually, through the network of people that we've met and know in the industry, we've been able to source everything that we need from pre-existing companies, and we're actually using the Kentucky Artisan Distillery in Crestwood, Kentucky. That's a pre-existing distillery. So we're actually able to bring together all of these different components at a distillery without the huge overhead, as well as they only charge us a small cost per case. So let's talk about who would actually want to buy our moonshine. Well, we kind of used Steve Blank's approach, and we went out and surveyed over 150 different people at liquor stores, bars, and we figured out who wants what and who's going to buy it. These two target markets we've named Jack and Diane. So Jack and Diane are your typical All-Americans. They're 21 to 34 years old, and they're just out of college or they're still a student. They're kind of getting their first adult job, and they're really just kind of starting off in the world. So they are looking for a premium product that is at a value price and has a good flavor. That's why our combination of 40% alcohol, multiple flavors, a high-quality drink at $20 is really significant. So how do we reach Jack and Diane? Well, Jack and Diane are actually the largest segment of the distilled spirits industry. There's been multiple reports that also say that they are the most brand loyal of any other customer segment. So they're also really involved on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. We're going to go off the fact that there's an ideal that people do. It's called pre-gaming. So a couple people smile and look like they pre-gamed. So pre-gaming is where you go with a couple friends and you go to a liquor store, buy a drink, buy a bottle or something. You go and drink it before you go to a bar to save money. So we're utilizing the fact that a lot of people, when they drink moonshine, they share it, they pre-game before bars, and what do they call it on Facebook? When you post an image, you can share it. So we're going to be launching our Share a Jar campaign that's going to be focused at utilizing people posting pictures, and then the appropriate ones we can retweet or reshare, just to show that our brand's really being built and used by people around the country to boost our credibility. We're also going to be having different on-premise promotions, and on-premise is when alcohol is consumed where it's sold, like a bar. So our on-premise promotions can include just different sampling events. We've got one of our big things we want to do is an industry night, where we actually invite bartenders out to try utilizing our beverage and making different drinks, experimenting with it, see what they can come up with so they can become familiar with it and endorse it when they are sitting there talking to the customer that we want to buy our alcohol. So let's talk about our finances. We've gotten everything outsourced and we have a small increase in cost for the bottling. But to kind of balance that out, we also bypass the cost that's $500,000 to $1 million for starting a distillery. So by doing that, we're actually, before taxes, we're actually able to keep close to triple the gross margin that, the product cost that one would normally face going into the industry. And then after taxes, it's a little bit less, but we've actually been able to incorporate more than standard industry markups to our price point to make sure that not only the distributor who buys our product will be making more money, but the retailer who sells it will be making more money. Because what are they going to do when they make more money? They're going to want to sell more of our product. So let's talk about the team. My name is Raymond Try. I'm the founder. We have a slew of advisors that have been more than fantastic. Mr. Griffin Cottle is one of our advisors. He's the head of the Small Business Development Center at the JCTC. We've got Mr. Joel Adams, who's actually responsible for launching a liquor brand several years ago, and he's advised us on a number of things. Steve Thompson is the owner of the Kentucky Artisan Distillery, and he's helped us because we're able to actually help him make some money while he's waiting for a bourbon that he's launching to age. So he's got more than a vested interest in trying to help us get started. Brian Pearson has over 15 years in supply chain management, and he's a SCORE mentor. Michelle Redmond has over 25 years in marketing experience with companies such as Gillette was a big one she worked for, and she's advised us quite a bit. Steve Gurr is a flavor professional, and he developed rum chata, or he helped develop rum chata. Last year, rum chata sold 500,000 cases. And we're also working with David Ames of Sovereign Flavors, who would assist us in developing the beverage you see before you. And he's given us quite a bit of advice as well as access to his network of industry professionals. All right.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if I'm Liquor Barn in Lexington and I make 20 points on selling your $20 bottle, I make $4 approximately. If I sell Old Smoky, I make $6. So why would I want to sell yours?
Because, like I said, we actually are trying to promote on-premise, because if you go to a bar and you're curious, whatever you say, surprise me. Our industry night, bartenders will have experience with our drink. Another thing that we're actually exploring is having a mixologist on staff. So when we go to bars and stuff like that, we could have our mixologist actually develop them a premium cocktail utilizing our spirits. So if you go to a bar and you buy something and you like it and the bartender recommends it, what are you going to do when you want to drink again? Maybe at your home? You're probably going to want to go buy it. So with that, we can actually utilize our on-premise sales and promotions to raise more off-premise sales. Now, we talked about Steve Blanks, so we actually went over and interviewed 40 bartenders separately. Every single bartender who ever carried Old Smoky, guess what they said? Bad, low quality, they wouldn't buy it again. 100% of them said that. Because people don't buy it, they think they're getting ripped off. It's 20% for $35. So, we're able to compete with Old Smoky by sheer massive sales. And like I said, Old Smoky has a significant amount of sales, but only after each expansion. They have an expansion, they have a lot of sales, then they drop down significantly. Then they expand again, more sales, then drop down significantly because people don't like it, they don't like the corn taste, and they're not going back.
Why'd you decide on peach, lemonade, apple, and the
Well,
what,
our
the other
original.
one? Yeah.
Our original's not here today. It's still in development. Getting a 60.5% alcohol that tastes good is a little bit of a challenge, but we're working on it. So those three flavors actually come from our customer interviews. Those flavors are some of the most well-liked flavors of it, not only existing moonshine companies, but of all flavored beverages in the distilled spirits industry. So by doing that research, we picked actually 4 starting flavors. Cherry was our other one. This is actually our 4th iteration working with Sovereign Flavors, and we've held focus groups of just some people that we surveyed to see if they'd ask for their information to invite them back. So we're actually able to hold focus groups for each sample and have them just kind of evaluate it. So those are the 3 that are best. We actually started off with a lemon drop and with a peach. The peach was close, it was like a high proof peach schnapps, so we decided to add the tea notes and really make it unique. With the lemonade, now we actually started as a lemon drop, but just because that's already an alcoholic beverage, it caused some confusion. So we made it a lemonade and added a little bit of sour to it. And the cherry that we had, we were just finding that even though it was good, anytime you have a cherry flavoring with an alcoholic taste to it, it just reminds of medicine. So we just decided to drop that one. When we enter the market, we're actually probably going to only pick 2 and then shelve another one so that we can introduce it maybe for our national expansion in a couple of years.
A question on your marketing. You had mentioned social media and share a jar and reshare. I'm actually the social media manager for the city of Pikeville. So one of my jobs is to do extensive research on rules and guidelines for Facebook. And one of the things that violates Facebook's policy tremendously, and they'll shut you down for this, is if you encourage people to share things, because they view that as spam. And if anyone reports you as spam, they could have your whole entire social media platform shut down.
Okay.
So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of advice on that.
I appreciate that. I actually hadn't heard that before. So
just to kind of see what you how you would change your social media platform.
Well, that was one of the big things that we had for social media, but it's still somehow, because that was our idea, but the overall concept that we wanted to do was we wanted to show brand participation. So we might be able to change it just so, having the jar in a picture, a cool setting or something, just something like that. So like I said, I'm on the spot right now. I don't have the answer like that because I hadn't known that, but like I said, thank you for bringing that up. But the whole thing was just trying to get across brand awareness and at the same time build credibility so people see other people enjoying the brand and being a part of a brand and just kind of creating, getting our brand values out there and really kind of creating just a friendly image.
As long as it's third party, you can do it. You just can't host it with Facebook, so you still may be able to get by with it.
Cool, thank you.
I don't have anything else. I asked him before. Okay.
And actually, we our city actually just signed a lease with the moonshine distiller that's going to be locating here in Pikeville.
Okay.
So maybe interested in that. It's Hatfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
The drink of the devil, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
I want to thank everybody for coming. These trophies here are for the advisors, and I have the big checks. Everybody likes the big checks for the winners. So without further ado, first place for the $2,500 win, Veggie-Matic. Second place for $1,500, Southern Shine. And third place, Groom Tech Heating System.